We are the only city in the country with this initiative. Now, Canada as a whole country celebrates this the week following ours. But we're hoping that we ignite something that just spreads like the Olympic torch across the country, and the eyes of Chicago and their international communities and their departments of international communities have their eyes on us, which is a very wonderful feeling that Houston's glowing right now. So thank you all.
And it falls just before American Thanksgiving, and we all have opportunities to, when we count our blessings of Thanksgiving, we can look back at the amazing, wonderful diversity of America and what brought all of us here as Americans, or what unites us as Americans. I will also now officially, clashes a little bit, but I'm rooting for the Dynamo, and this is the second of their two-game playoff series, and so we want to make sure that Houstonians send good wishes to the Dynamo as they play, supporting KC. I was there at the game on Sunday, and we'll be rooting for the Dynamo today.
Hey, Mayor. You might want to step away from the podium a little bit so we can get a picture of the whole thing there. So
Okay.
yeah, there you go.
The whole thing.
There.
Are we going to have a rally before the championship game now?
I imagine we're going to have a rally before the championship game because they have to get there.
So
What I really want to have is the championship parade for the Dynamo when they get there, win their third championship.
All right.
Going back to yesterday's election,
Can you remove your scarf and talk about the election?
by the way, since you called attention to yourself, Mrs. Wu,
My husband won the election.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Very happy, obviously, with the results yesterday. Houstonians clearly and resoundingly indicated their willingness to invest in the future of Houston, invest in the future of our schools, invest in the future of the city of Houston, and that they clearly support the leadership in all of these institutions as we go forward to make major capital investments. I think some of that is that Houstonians are always very pragmatic. They understand that you have to invest in infrastructure. I think also it's partly just the natural optimism of Houstonians, but it is also the fact that Houston has come out of the recession and we're moving forward and we're not going to look back. And so that combination led to very, very strong vote of the citizens in favor of investments in our future. If you have any questions about yesterday.
Do you think concerns about that were raised about possible sticker shock were overblown? Were you never worried about that from the get-go?
I was concerned about possible sticker shock. The other two bond items had significant tax increases with them, and I tried hard not to, and did succeed in not bringing forward a bond item that had tax increase attached to it. So I was concerned about sticker shock, but as the election progressed, it became clear that Houstonians were feeling that it was the right thing to do and the right time to invest.
Do Houstonians not buy into the sort of the anti-government fervor we've been hearing about all year and promoted more by some candidates than others?
Houston is a city of opportunity and optimism. People come to Houston with a dream of building their future and their fortune. I think Houstonians are by nature optimistic, and we attract people who believe that through hard work you can make things happen. People like that also understand that you have to invest in your working tools, and for the city, our working tools are our facilities, our roads. For a school district, part of the working tools are the facilities that kids go to school in, and I think that rhetoric about the sky is falling, and I got mail, I received multiple robocalls from folks, one particular ex-public official, saying that the sky is falling and that this can't be afforded. And the Houstonians understand that we don't have another choice. We must invest in ourselves. And that is actually not just about the physical assets. When you make capital investments, you create jobs. So you're impacting the community in multiple ways.
On the affordable housing referendum was the one that passed by the East bit. Do you think voters understood exactly what that was about, and what would you like to tell them about whether that it really is a good investment for the city?
There are a lot of voters who do not believe that providing housing is an appropriate role of government. What I wish I had done was to be a little more clear of how we intended to use this public housing money. While it can be used for affordable housing, it is intended to be used for demolitions. Once we explained that it was to be used for demolitions, support ramped up, and very few people who were opposed to it at all. So it fell into an area where I think there's just a philosophical divide from some folks who don't believe in the government being involved in any way with housing.
So Mayor, do you think?
What will be demolished?
We have, actually, I don't know what will be demolished. We have a dirty half dozen that we keep internally of the worst of the worst large complexes that need to be taken down. Our first goal is to get the property owners to take them down, but if not, taxpayers have to step in. Any one of those properties could be $1 million demolition cost. So remember, this $15 million we were asking for is to be spread out over 5 years, and that's not a lot of demolition when you consider the cost. Now, we make every effort to recover the cost. We place a lien against the properties and so forth, but we have to have capital up front to do demolition. It is also possible to use that money for individual blighted properties, and we have tens of thousands, I'll repeat that, tens of thousands of abandoned, decaying, single-family homes across the city of Houston that need demolition. The goal is to take the properties down as aggressively as we can. Those that we can take over and put into our inventory, our own foreclosure inventory, and get them back out on the market, we will do that. But it is easier to mow a vacant lot than it is to continuously go and try to board up a house with a roof caved in.
So Mayor, I was a little surprised. I got to tell you, when I went to the vote, I was surprised that demolition wasn't in the wording of that. Was that a mistake?
We worded it broadly because it is for housing, and it wasn't specifically as a demolition bond. It was available for affordable housing, but how we intend to use it. And that's why I said it. We might have been clearer in the caption. How we intend to use it is for demolitions. Frankly, it was too small a request to have much of an impact in terms of affordable housing. The affordable housing dollars we spend are federal dollars. They drop down through HUD.
Right. Beyond the bonds, Harris County, you were busy at the time, but the final results came out, and looks like Barack Obama carried Harris County by 585 votes. And if you look at a lot of the judges, the Democratic judges who were sitting on pins and needles and sweating bullets last night, a lot of them came through, won in the end. You were just talking about the diversity of Houston, Harris County. Do you see anything in these results that says something about what is happening to the electorate, not just of our city, but our county?
Well, now, as I run in the city of Houston and serve the city of Houston is an overwhelmingly Democratic city, although this is a nonpartisan body and we tend to elect middle-of-the-road Democrats here. The county has, for a long time, been much more conservative than the city. And the last 4 years ago election cycle, was when the county, for the first time in a long time, saw Democrats elected. As part of the backlash 2 years ago against, the rise of the Tea Party and throw the incumbents out, a lot of them, there was a lot of Democratic incumbents lost. Coming back, what I see is that the county is about evenly divided, but people pick their way down the ballot. And that is a good sign for our democracy. It also, I suspect, shows a trend that we will gradually become more, slightly more democratic over the next few cycles here in Harris County. But the best thing is that people work their way down the ballot and made informed choices.
Now, let me ask you, Mayor of Houston, but you're a Texan too. We've been here for a long time. At some point, Texas is going to flip Democratic. When do you see that happening in your lifetime?
Absolutely. I am a native Houstonian, so it's a few decades
Yeah.
that I've been here. And I have seen when Texas was a Democratic state, and I have seen Texas as a Republican state. It is a pendulum, it swings. I think the swing is going back toward the Democratic side right now. But what we need is elected officials who care about Texas, not about party. And I hope that as we go into this legislative session, just in a couple of months, that we will send people to Austin who put their constituents and the state of Texas before party.
Mayor, I
Mayor,
talked
can
to
you
Terry
just talk
Greer
about-
on this Monday night, and Mr. Greer is very interested in working with you and the city of Houston in the NWB program in regards to the bonding program, because he has several millions of dollars in construction contracts that are going to be coming up, and the biggest problem they have with a lot of minority contractors is the bonding program.
Bonding. I think all of the government entities in the region who had bond elections or who will be doing major capital projects should work together to make sure that the opportunities of those jobs and those contracts are spread across the community. The city already has a very robust training program to assist people in getting bonding, and it is open to anyone who wants to participate. So I know that if Dr. Greer at HISD wants to partner, we'd be glad to do that.
Mayor,
I want to go back to the bonds real quick. They're talked about as far as when will we actually see, say, fire stations and libraries sort of kind of turning, everything takes time, so when will Houstonians actually see that and what will they see?
For the most part, they're not going to see something right away. As we explained over and over again, this is part of the routine of doing business in the city. We go out approximately every 5 years to make a request. We still have bonding capacity from the last request. We're in our last year of that. So this is for projects that are in the existing CIP. So at the end of next year, it'll allow us to carry forward. The one new twist with this bond was item B, or Proposition B, which was the parks piece, because it had the $100 million matching proposal from the Parks Board. Those parks projects you should see a lot faster. The Parks Board already had $20 million in pledges. They're going to really ramp up their capital campaign now that the Parks Bond item has passed, and you should see the parks pieces, I think, moving forward faster, because we need to do some land acquisition, and there's a division of labor where there's a lot of things that can happen really quickly over there.
And I know you kind of say neutral on HIC and HCC bonds, but are you
I did
glad?
not say neutral. I endorsed all of them.
You did, I guess,
I
actively,
did the
yeah.
radio advertising for all of them, and I did the dreaded robocalls saying vote for all bonds, go to the end of the ticket, or go to the end of the ballot, vote for everything. I vote for. I also went out and stumped for Metro. I actually supported everything.
Mayor, Metro, there's such